Communism after Deleuze is a theoretically rich intervention in contemporary political philosophy. Situated within the Deleuze and Guattari Encounters series, the book re examines the philosophical legacy of Deleuze and Guattari in relation to Marxism and the concept of communism. Rather than treating Deleuze as a thinker detached from political ideology, Lee argues that Deleuze develops a distinctive and underexplored form of communism, what he terms minor communism. This concept becomes a central organizing principle of the book. The book opens with a provocative claim: Deleuze should be read as a philosopher of communism, albeit in a non traditional sense. Lee does not suggest that Deleuze adheres to orthodox Marxism or party based communism. Instead, he positions Deleuze as a thinker who reimagines communism through decentralization, multiplicity, and experimentation. The introduction establishes this framework by linking Deleuze's philosophy to revolutionary movements in the Third World, not as a geographical entity but as a conceptual space that disrupts dominant Western structures of power and language. One of the book's major strengths lies in its reinterpretation of Deleuze and Guattari's collaborative works, especially Anti Oedipus and A Thousand Platters. Lee traces how their thought evolves in response to historical developments such as decolonization movements and the crisis of traditional Marxism. He shows that their philosophy moves away from centralized political structures like the Communist Party toward a more fluid and decentralized understanding of political action. This shift is particularly evident in their concept of becoming, which emphasizes transformation, multiplicity, and resistance to fixed identities. The discussion of key concepts such as faciality, ritornel, and ustad further deepens the analysis. Lee demonstrates how these ideas contribute to a critique of state power and hierarchical organization. For instance, the notion of the Ustad is presented not as a single historical entity but as a recurring structure of domination that manifests in various forms. By reinterpreting these concepts politically, Lee shows how Deleuze and Guattari challenge traditional Marxist categories and open up new possibilities for revolutionary thought. A particularly important contribution of the book is its exploration of what Lee calls Deleuze's unwritten Marx. In this section, Lee argues that Deleuze's scattered references to Marx form a coherent, though implicit, theory of communism. This reinterpretation draws on influences such as Bergson and Simondon to present Marx not as a theorist of historical determinism, but as a thinker of difference and transformation. This reading challenges both orthodox Marxism and anti Marxist critiques, positioning Deleuze as a mediator who revitalizes Marxist thought for contemporary conditions. The final chapter focuses on Deleuze's concept of control cities, which Lee interprets as a critical extension of Marxist analysis. In contrast to Foucault's disciplinary societies, control societies operate through flexible and decentralized mechanisms such as digital technologies and information systems. Lee argues that this transformation represents a new phase of capitalism, one that requires equally innovative forms of resistance. Deleuze's communism does not propose a fixed political program, it emphasizes the creation of a people to come, a collective subject that has yet to be realized. Another key theoretical framework in the book is the influence of Althusser's materialism of the encounter. Lee uses this concept to explain how Deleuze understands politics as contingent and event based rather than predetermined by historical laws. This perspective aligns with Deleuze's broader philosophical commitment to immanence, difference, and unpredictability. It also reinforces the idea that communism, in Deleuze's sense, is not a fixed end state but an ongoing process of experimentation and transformation. While Lee successfully demonstrates the relevance of Deleuze's thought to contemporary capitalism, the book offers limited concrete examples of how minor communism might be applied in real world political contexts. Communism after Deleuze challenges the widespread assumption that Deleuze's philosophy is apolitical or incompatible with Marxism. Lee presents a compelling case for understanding Deleuze as a thinker who redefines communism in response to the complexities of global capitalism, neoliberalism, and post colonial conditions.